how can you use a model to break apart factors and make them easy to multiply? That's the question. Yes. Oh, I thought you're answering it? I'm just reading it. Outline a rectangle on the grid for 13 times 18. Now, you're not going to do this. I'm going to do this. So, I'm going to go down. This is the 10 mark. I hear pencils moving. This is the 10 mark. So, 13 will go down to here. Okay. And over 18, I need to go, here's 10, 11, and this will be 18 right here. Okay, 13 by 18. This side is 13 and this side is 18. I still hear pencils. Okay, so 13 by 18. Now, we're going to break this apart into sections that are easy to play with in a sense. There is a box right here. What is the dimensions of this box right here where those blue lines are? How many over and how many down are those? Ben?
10.
10. It's 10 over and 10 down. So I'm going to write 10 here and 10 here. You're not doing anything yet. You can catch up in a minute. 10 on those. And I'm going to color my 10 by 10. What color?
Blue.
Blue. Here's my 10 by 10 box, and I'm going to color it blue. Okay. I don't want to touch my black because it'll ruin my blue. Okay, so there's my blue box. It's all those 10 by 10. Okay. Then over here, I know that to this blue line right here, I know that it's 10 to there. How many over is it? How many boxes over is it?
8.
It's 8 because I have my total as 18 and I've already used 10. So I know that this is 8. So now I have a 10 by 8, and what color is that supposed to be? Green. So I'm going to color my 10 by 8 area green carefully so I don't touch the black and ruin my expo markers. Okay, you are not coloring yet. And now I have 2 other boxes down here that I'm going to color. This box down here is how many down do I have left? 3, right, because I had a total of 13. And I know that I've used 10 already, so there's 3 left over. I have a 3 by 10 right here. What color is my 3 by 10 supposed to be?
Yellow.
Yellow. So I don't have yellow, so I'm just going to do mine brown. Can someone get that? You did. So I have my 3 by 8 is brown, yellow. Here, we'll do this. Brown. No, it's okay. I have purple. All right, and then the last one. What is the dimensions of this box right here? Think about it first real quick. How many down, how many over? Okay, what do you guys think? How many down?
3.
And how many over?
8.
And that's what I have right here, my purple 3 by 8. I'm going to color it pink or purple. I just went with purple. And there's my purple area. Okay? So I've taken apart this number 13 times 18 and made it into smaller groups, and I can multiply them out. They already did the first one for us. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 8 is
800.
10 times 8 is 80. 3 times 10?
30.
And 3 times 8?
24.
24. Now I can add all those numbers together, and I will have my answer for 13 times 18. So I have 180, 210, 234 is my total. Now I can stack those and add them the way that we normally do. And that would work too. Did you have a question? So looking at the one on the bottom, pencils and crayons are down, please. Draw the model again, breaking apart the whole model to show factors different from those shown the first time. Label and shade the 4 smaller rectangles and find their products. Record the sum of the whole model. Record the sum of the partial products to represent the product of the whole number. Doesn't that sound kind of scary?
Yeah.
It's not that scary. It's just do the same thing you did here, only instead of breaking it down 10 and 3, 10 and 8, break those numbers down differently. So I'm going to start first by outlining my 13 by 18, and you are doing nothing at this point but watching. This is 18 on this side, and this is 13 on this side. I would like 2 single-digit numbers that add up to 13. Who would like to volunteer me? 2 single-digit numbers that add up to 13. Why don't we go, Tony?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. Okay, 2 single-digit numbers that add up to 18. That's going to be harder, isn't it? There's only one. Christine. Right, 9 and 9 are the only ones that work for that. Okay, so 9 and 9. So this time, I'm going to do my blue. I'm going to do 9 across and how many down?
6.
6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be my, and then I know that 9 ends right here because that is 10 all the way to the blue line. Okay. While I'm doing this, I'm going to keep track of my multiplication. What 2 numbers do I multiply to get that blue square? Daniel.
Not being multiplied 6 and 9.
6 and 9. What is 6 times 9? What's the product?
54.
54. Okay. So then my next box, which will be my green box, I'm going to do over, is going, oops, did I do that wrong? No, I did it right. So this is 9 again. And how many down?
6.
6. So, oh, look at how nice and easy that is. 9 times 6 again, right? 54. Now I'm going to do my yellow / brown. How many down am I going this time? 7. And how many over? 9. Remember we did 9 over. Yeah, because I don't want to, especially with my fat markers. All right, so what is the multiplication I'm going to do for that box, the brown box? Raise a quiet hand if you can tell me. What numbers am I going to multiply? Aiden. 9 times 7. And what is 9 times 7, class?
63.
63. Okay? And then the last box that's going to be purple. How many down and how many over? 7 over and 7 down, I'm sorry, and 9 over. And again, I'm going to multiply what 2 numbers? 7 times, which is 63. Now, if I was doing this math, just myself, I notice a pattern here, right? There's 2 of these. There's 2 of these and 2 of these. I would actually add 54 plus 63 and then double that number. Because I could do 54 plus 63 in my head. 5 plus 6 is 110. 50 plus 60, I should say, is 110 plus 7. So it's 117. And then I can add 117 again, because then these 2 equal 117, so then those 2 equal 117. I'm just showing you some mental math that helps you get through it. 234. Okay? So go ahead and do your box with 9 and 9 and 6 and 6. Explain how you found the total number of squares in the whole model. So we did a model, and we found the total number of squares. Did we count all the squares?
No.
No, we didn't count the squares. What did we do? Explain in words what we did to find out how many squares total they were. I want you to write it on your paper right here. Explain in words. Who would like to share with me what they wrote for explaining? Daniel.
Okay.
Nice and loud.
We found the answer by breaking up the problem into smaller pieces.
Okay, and then what did we do?
And then we added all the products.
Okay, I'm gonna abbreviate. So we were breaking it into smaller pieces.
And adding the
Before we added, what do we do?
we colored the grid.
And then how do we find our numbers?
We multiplied.
Right, so then we multiplied the smaller pieces, right? And then
We
added what?
added all the ants.
Which is the products, right?
Yeah.
We added all the products. Okay, who would like to, did anybody word that differently that they would like to share? Anybody word it differently they'd like to share?
We found the total number by adding 54.
Can you hold on just a second? We need to not talk when somebody else is talking. Go ahead.
By adding 54 plus 63 got 117 and then multiplying got 234.
Okay, so you explained exactly with our numbers what we did. Okay, those both work. Number 2, compare the two models and their products. What can you conclude? What can you tell when you compare those? Okay, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it doesn't matter what numbers, right? It doesn't matter what numbers you use. You still get the same answer. Okay, number 3. Do you have to find the product of 10 times 10 and 33, which is the easier computation? 10 times 11 plus 10 times 11 plus 10 times 11, or 10 times 30 and 10 times 3? Which one of those? There's two choices. 10 times 11 plus 10 times 11 plus 10 times 11. Or 10 times 30 plus 10 times 3. There's no right answer. Some of you might think that this is easier, and some of you might think that this is easier. I want to know which one you think is easier and why. So the question was, which one of these is easier and why? Remember, everybody's going to have a different reason and a different answer. Sophia, why don't you start? Okay, so what she said was that the 10 times 30 is 300 and the 10 times 3 is 30, and that makes it easy to add in your head 330. Okay, who I want to know chose this one? Did anybody choose this one? Because this is actually the one I chose.
What?
Okay, what do you think? Shh.
If you know,
Nice and loud so I can hear you.
if you know your 11 multiplication table, then you know what 10 times 11 is, then you multiply it by 2 or add it by 3.
Multiply it by 3.
But didn't you already multiply 1? So there's only 2 left to multiply.
No, you multiply it by 3 because you're going to have 3 of those. So 10 times 11 is 110. 110, 110, 110 is 330. So that's another way to do it. You can take a third. You would take 11, 11, and 11 equals 33. Multiply 10 times 11 is 110. And then just do 110, 110, 110 is 310. All right, moving on to making connections. You can draw a simple diagram to model and break apart factors and to find a product. So find 10 times 24. So we've used a model here. This is 10. What should be here? 15 times 24. This should be what? 5. Thank you, Preston. 20 here. So what number should be here? 4. Okay. Now, instead of shading and counting box. We never even counted boxes really before. We were only counting over and down. But we can just make about what a 20 might look like and about what a 10 might look like. What is 20 times 10? Just tell me. 200. What is 10 times 4?
40.
What should be here? What numbers am I going to multiply?
5 times 5.
Christine. What numbers am I going to multiply here?
5 times 24.
Not 5 times 24. Okay, let's think, because we're all giving different answers. Think what, for the yellow, think about what numbers are we going to multiply. Raise your hand when you think you know. Starting with the smaller number first, it would be what?
5 times 20.
Right, 5 times 20. What is 5 times 20? And what's going to go in this box? Raise your hand when you know what numbers I'm going to multiply. What numbers will I be multiplying to find out what goes in this box? And what two numbers am I going to multiply?
10 times 4.
5 times 4. You're basically taking your fingers and going like this. Bringing it down. 5 times 4 is what? 20. So now I'm going to add all of these numbers together. They've already done it here. So this was 200, this was 40, this was 100, and this is 20. Okay? Now I can do this in my head. 200 plus this is 300 plus this is what? 40 plus 20 more is? Look at how nice and easy it was to do. 15 times 24. Who knew? 15 times 24 was so darn easy, right? You two need to stop fooling around. Okay, so there's an easy way to do 24 times 15. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next page. And we have 16 times 19. Now, if you notice the box, it doesn't again, they don't have to be to scale. It doesn't have to make sense. When I taught this last year, because I actually did teach this to my 4th graders last year, my box looked like this, no matter what the numbers were. It doesn't have to be to scale, as long as you understand that a 2-digit number times a 2-digit number is going to have 2 boxes. Now, it did 10 and 9 because numbers that are divisible by 10 are easier to work with. Okay? So if we have 16, we can do 10 and 6, and 19, we can do 10 and 9. Is there anybody, raise your hand, if you do not understand why this is 10 and 9 and why this is 10 and 6, because that's important to understand why. Everybody else, I'm going to remind you. What is 10 plus 16? 10 plus 6. 16. So this is basically just brought down here, and it's broken down 10 by 6. 10 and 6. This is like the shading we did earlier. What is 10 plus 9? 19. It's this brought to here, and it's just broken down in 2 sections, 10 and 9. Because it's easier to multiply with a number that's in the tens. Okay, now I can multiply 10 times 10, which is 100. And 10 times 9, which is?
90.
And they've done it for you. 10 times 6 is?
60.
And 6 times 9 is? 54. So then I'm going to add all those. I have 250 plus 50, so 304. That's my answer. You just add them all when you're all done. Now, I can already see people getting lost in, what do I multiply? There's no, and I don't want you to think of a trick. I want you to know what you're doing. You're multiplying this number times this number to get what's in that box. Your fingers can help you figure it out. So you start in the box and you go to the left and you go up, and those are the 2 numbers you should be multiplying. If I go in the yellow box, 1 finger to the left, what number is that?
8.
And 1 finger up? So those are the 2 numbers I should be multiplying for the yellow box. What about for the green? 1 finger over?
10.
1 finger up? 6. I should be multiplying those 2 numbers for this box. And then the pink purple box, 1 finger over? 8, and one finger up, 6. So I should be multiplying 8 times 6. Is this a question? Not right at this minute. All right, so let's go ahead and do the multiplication. Again, here's where we got the 8 and here's where we got these numbers. 18 is 10 plus 8. It's basically doing expanded form. Expanded form. So this one would be 20 plus 6. 20 plus 6, 10 plus 8. Okay, 20 times 10 is, this one's going to be 20 times 8, which is 160. 2 times 8 is 16, times 10 is 160. 6 times 10 is
60.
and 6 times 8 is 48. Don't try to beat everybody. Okay, so I'm going to do 200 plus 160. I can do that in my head. That's 360. And I can also do 60 plus 48 in my head. That's 108. So I'm going to add those, and I get 468. Okay? I want you to go ahead and copy those down, and then do number 3 on your own. All right, we're going to do this one together. If you're not there yet, it's okay. So they've taken 27, put it in expanded form as 20 plus 7. They've taken 39 and put it in expanded form, which is 30 plus 9. And now we're going to multiply. What numbers did you multiply to get this middle box? Starting on the left side, what numbers did you multiply? 20 times
30.
Which equals?
600.
600. Let's do the green box next. Starting on this side, what numbers did you multiply?
9 and 20.
No, starting on this side. 20 times, what is 20 times 9?
180.
180. For the yellow box, starting on this side, what numbers did you multiply?
7 times 30.
7 times 30. Wait for me to finish my question before you answer. What's 7 times 30 equal?
210.
And then on the pink box, what numbers did you multiply?
7 times 9.
Which equals?
63.
I'm personally going to add these across first. 600 plus 180 is 780. And then 210 plus 63 is 273. So I got 1,053. That's a 5. And don't forget, we changed this 0. I miswrote it. I put it down here right, but then I copied it wrong up here. Okay. So, before I send you off on your own, I want to do one that does not give the model for us. We're going to do it together. And I'm going to erase this just so we can see. Okay. So 14 times 16. I'm going to make my box. Remember, it doesn't matter if it's visually correct. Okay. I'm going to put my 14 on this side. Raise your hand if you can tell me what 2 numbers I should be doing for changing this to expanded form. What do you think? On this side. If I expanded form it, what 2 numbers am I adding? 10 and 4. All right, if I expanded form 16, what numbers am I adding, class? 10 and 6. Okay, so doing this from start to finish, this is how I make my box. Now, 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 4 is 40. For this one, I need to do 10 times 6, which is, and this one I need to do the ends, which is 24. I know that 40 plus 60 equals 100, so that's 224. You can line them up and add them. You do not have to do the adding in your head. I'm just showing you how I think it through.